Good morning, everyone. I am here with Pastor Nick King from Carlsbad Mennonite, and he wanted to give a little bit of an update for what his church has been up to, and then I'll be asking a few questions. So take it away, Nick.
Thanks. Uh, Here at Carlsbad, the church has been here for about 55 years, but we're all getting older and more frail. Currently, there's about 6 to 10 that meet in person, and another 4 to 6 that attend on Zoom because they just can't get out. A couple of months ago, our church was approached by another church to see if we would be interested in selling our building, and they made us a cash offer, which we talked about and unanimously decided that that was an act of God that we accepted. And it was great to see the unanimity when making that kind of a major decision out of the blue. But we signed it over on July the 1st. The Sunday before that, we had a joint service blessing, passing on the baton, and are very glad that it continued to be used as a house of worship instead of some commercial enterprise. The proceeds were given to Mennonite Mission Network, and Rhonda and I plan to retire and move to Indiana around the first of the year, but for now, the church, the kingdom of God here continues.
Great, thanks. What are some things that you would say you've learned while pastoring?
Well, one thing is that work is God's and it's not mine, being a pastor. Whether it's success or failure, my work is that of a faithful servant, doing what God leads me to, kind of like the dichotomy of being an employer in solar or being an employee where you just go out and do what you're told that day. You don't have to worry about the outcome or planning or anything else. We need to as pastors, but still, it's God's work, it's God's project. Second thing would be that although the church brought me here and gave me the title of pastor and supports me financially, most of what feels like God's work happens in the community. Volunteering at the hospital, my work with hospice, going to Chamber of Commerce meetings where, of course, the pastor always gets to pray. Working with Citizens Caring for the Future, which deals with environmental issues like pollution and nuclear waste here in the Permian Basin. Being a handyman for people in the church and for others in the community. Hosting Airbnb is also feels like a ministry. You know that God's kingdom is much bigger than the church.
Thanks. Can you tell us a little bit about some things that you find yourself grateful for when you look back on your ministry through the years?
Well, one is I'm very grateful for the role of a pastor, that it's a very freeing experience, for the doors that opens in the community. And grateful to see God working even through me. There's really nothing more satisfying or fulfilling than the feeling of knowing that you have been used by God. Now, although that doesn't happen a lot, when it does, it's really powerful. I'm also grateful for the freedom of a prophetic voice of a pastor where I'm free to talk about the whole reality of God instead of just being limited to the social or the intellectual or the political realities. But on the other hand, then I feel restrained about endorsing candidates, which may not be a bad thing, to not get too caught up in the partisan politics when the long-term realities of the kingdom of God and the environment are really what count.
Great. And now, finally, I'm wondering if you can share some of your hopes that you have for our conference here.
Well, I hope that it continues. I hope that we stay centered on Jesus in spite of all the cultures and ideologies that we are so infected with. if we don't stay focused on Jesus, where will the people in this polarized, messed up, distraught society ever find some kind of rock to stand on? And as Herm Weaver said, someone in a conference um called the church an eclectic bunch of weirdos. We do have the community of Jesus to offer all the lonely and disconnected people, which is a real major thing in our time. And I hope that our conference can continue to work with other churches, even other Mennonite churches, to embody the kingdom of God and some of the unique and radical aspects of the Anabaptist vision, like peace and simplicity, discipleship and service, and an unrestrained urge to proclaim the kingdom of God to a hurting and fragmented world, all while we're trying to keep our own head above the flood of evil. Now, sorry we weren't able to make it to this conference this time. Our children were coming, but we're with you in spirit, and may God bless you all, and we hope to see you at least at pastor's meeting.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor Nick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your years of ministry in this conference. I know you have changed a lot of lives and you have improved your community. And I pray blessings over you in this next chapter of your journey.
Thank you.